The 2013 NBA Finals has one of the strongest cases to be the greatest finals series of all time. And that's just a fact. It featured possibly the greatest game in NBA history, a handful of future Hall of Famers, and numerous iconic moments that had you screaming at your TV in pure disbelief. It was as close to a perfect finals as we'll ever see. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What about 2016, 2010, 98, 88, 69? What about 2024? I mean, there are some series that do come close, but they're either overshadowed by injuries, suspensions, poor performances, and blowouts, or they simply lack the sheer number of memorable moments 2013 gave us. That finals was just different. And on top of everything that we saw on the court, it's the ripple effect that followed which truly sets it apart from all the others. Those shots and misses that shook us to our core in the moment were in fact more impactful than anyone could have imagined. The 2013 NBA Finals delivered everything we could have asked for, and then some, which is why it is the greatest finals series in NBA history. The setup for this series was storybook. After winning 4 titles in 9 seasons from 1999 to 2007, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili were looking to reignite their dynasty with the help of a future superstar. Kawhi Leonard was rising, and he'd have to guard this guy. Headed into this series, LeBron had revenge on his mind. In 2007, when San Antonio won their last championship, LeBron was on the losing end, swept and embarrassed. But for the rematch, he had some help. Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh were by his side as the Heat looked to become just the 12th team to win back-to-back championships and establish the Big Three as a success. It was past versus present, fundamental team basketball versus skill. The stage was set for an all-out war between behemoths. Game 1 was a back-and-forth battle, and with 15 seconds left in the game and the Spurs up by 2, Tony Parker has our first iconic moment of these finals.
Now Bosh has him. Parker on the drive, nearly lost it, still dribbling. Parker with 2 to shoot. Just gets it off in time. And he banks it in! What a shot from Parker!
The dude falls down to one knee, spins, avoids LeBron's contest, and just barely beats the shot clock with 5 seconds left to drive a dagger into Miami. It's one of the wildest shots I've ever seen, and the Spurs win Game 1. Game 2 was close until late in the third quarter. Miami cranked up the heat and went on a 33-5 run. That included our second iconic moment.
4 to shoot. Parker, thread the heat. Oh, what a block from James! Throws it back at Splitter, who is ready to dunk.
It's one of the greatest blocks in NBA Finals history. Miami scorches the Spurs, and the series is tied at 1. In Game 3, the script flipped. San Antonio exploded from downtown, breaking the finals record for most threes in a game. It was a 36-point murder. Spurs go up 2-1. Game 4 was the Miami Big Three at their absolute best. James, Wade, and Bosh combined for 85 of the team's 109 points in a 16-point win. The series is tied at 2. Game 5 was the Danny Green show, and honestly, it's been like that for the entire series. From games 1 to 4, Green was averaging 16.5 points on, wait for it, 68% shooting from 3. The man was a flamethrower. In Game 5, he went off for 24 points on 6 of 10 shooting from deep, breaking Ray Allen's record for the most threes made in a single NBA Finals. And somehow, with all the star power in this series, Danny motherfucking Green is the leader for the Finals MVP. Oh, and you know that young future superstar that we were talking about earlier? He's been putting the clamps on LeBron through the first 5 games. San Antonio wins Game 5 and are now 1 win away from the championship, which leads us to the greatest game in NBA history. I'm not kidding when I say that you can make a mixtape with all the insane moments from Game 6. It was pure chaos. Tim Duncan throws down a nasty hammer dunk on Bosh. Just over a minute later, D-Wade drives and bodies Duncan with a 2-handed slam. And less than a minute after that, Kawhi comes down and baptizes Mike Miller. This 2-minute stretch is one of the most outrageous sequences in finals history. It was madness. From that point on, the game was neck and neck until the third quarter. San Antonio began to pull away with a 12-point lead, and LeBron was still playing like garbage. But in the fourth quarter, that would change. James and the Heat caught fire to get themselves back in the game, including iconic moment number 3.
Miller has only one sneaker on. Miller, bang!
Without his left shoe, Mike Miller bangs a 3 to cut the lead to 4. On a dunk, LeBron loses his headband and it takes him into another mode. He gets a huge block on Duncan and lays it in at the other end to tie the game. It was a LeBron takeover, and it leads us into Act 3. There's a lot that's about to happen, so buckle your seatbelt. With a minute and a half left, Tony Parker nails a step-back 3 over LeBron to tie the game. The Heat turn the ball over, and Parker knocks down a familiar spinning jumper to give the Spurs a 2-point lead. LeBron turns it over, Ginobili makes 2 free throws, LeBron turns it over again, Manu makes 1 of 2, and it's a 5-point lead for San Antonio with 28 seconds left. By all means, the game in the championship was locked up for the Spurs. League officials and security guards were literally placing yellow tape around the court for San Antonio's celebration. There were even reports that the Larry O'Brien trophy was on its way to the court. Heat fans were leaving the arena. It was over. At least, that's what everybody thought. Popovich decides to take Duncan out of the game to go smaller and defend the 3, and it completely blows up in their face. LeBron throws up a brick, Miami snags an offensive rebound, and LeBron nails the 3 on his second attempt. Kawhi goes to the line and makes 1 of 2 free throws, and just like that, it's a 3-point game, and the Heat can tie. Greg Popovich decides to stay small and leave Duncan on the bench, a decision that will forever haunt him. This is iconic moment number 4.
Just attack the basket. James catches, puts up a 3. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His 3-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
With full confidence, I can say that this is the greatest clutch shot in basketball history. Ray Allen never looked down at his feet, never checked where the line was, and it was one fluid motion into a shot. The clutchest shot of all time. Fake Miami fans who'd left early were locked out of the arena. They were begging to get back in for overtime, which is unfortunate because they'd missed the 5th iconic moment of the series.
Green trying to get free. Cross-court pass to Green. Green blocked by Bosch. Game over. There'll be a game 7.
With the play of his career, Bosch stuffs Danny Green and forces a game 7. LeBron finished with a 32-point triple-double, Duncan with a monster 30 and 17. From great performances to iconic moments to dramatic moments to celebrating too early to exposing fake fans to a moment that is etched into the foundation of NBA history, Game 6 of the 2013 Finals was perfect. And there was still a Game 7. Following up what was the greatest game in league history, Game 7 was a damn good encore. LeBron makes a tough and 1, Kawhi answers with one of his own, Shane Battier turns into a prime Steph Curry going 6 for 8 from deep, and Mario Chalmers banked in a deep triple to beat the buzzer and give the Heat a 1-point lead headed into the 4th quarter. It was mayhem. With less than a minute left, Miami's up 2 and the Spurs have the ball with a chance to tie. They throw it down to Duncan on the low block, and he gets iconic moment number 6.
Nearly lost it. Back to Ginobili. Inside Duncan. Across the lane. Duncan misses the tip. No good.
Duncan whiffs on a wide open 3-foot running hook and clanks the putback. A shot that is probably still haunting him to this day because it leads directly to our 7th iconic moment.
It doesn't look like. James pulls up. Puts it in. 4-point lead.
LeBron ices the game with a clutch jumper, Miami makes their free throws, and the Heat win back-to-back championships. James cements himself as an all-time great with a 37-point, 12-rebound performance, the 4th highest scoring Game 7 in the finals, and the most ever in a win. This series was as close to perfection as you can get, and the impact that it had on the NBA was massive. In hindsight, the Spurs completely choked away the championship, and in doing so, they changed the course of NBA history. Had the Heat lost, Pat Riley was planning to break up the roster. So does LeBron find himself back in Cleveland or go elsewhere? If so, we'd never get the 2016 finals. Does KD ever join the Warriors? What does Steph's career look like? If Popovich puts Tim back in the game, he gets a rebound, and the Spurs win the title in 2013 and 2014, does Kawhi ever force himself out of San Antonio? What happens to the Raptors? Does Durant ever tear his Achilles if he never plays against Toronto in the finals? If the Spurs make their free throws, do they win a title in 2014 that was fueled by vengeance and revenge for what happened in 2013? Probably not. So does that mean that the Grizzlies or the Warriors win a title that season? What other players have a ring on their finger? The 2013 NBA Finals were as pivotal as any playoff series ever, and directly shaped the NBA into what it is today. From legends to iconic moments to the greatest game ever played, there is no doubt that it is the greatest NBA Finals of all time. Now go subscribe, because the video is about to end.